This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Well, good evening and welcome to this unusual show. Would you say it's going to be unusual?
We're unusually far from each other.
Want to get a bit close?
Should we text each other? Do you want to phone the interview with me?
It's one and only Russell Peters. Welcome. And for those one or two, a handful of you who don't know who he is, he's been traveling around India to shows that are houseful and bloody expensive tickets as well.
I don't price them. I just show
up.
It's not like I get called and go, Russell, what do you want to price these tickets at? I just show up. And
but a houseful, you can't get a seat in any of them. Bangalore, Bombay, Calcutta, and Delhi as well. Well, no seats available.
There's a lot of money in this country, you know. We always focus on the poor. There's a lot of rich people in this country.
And again, for those who don't know about him, what's that phrase? Somebody gonna get a hood real bad. So tell us, what's it been like making fun of Indian audiences in front of Indians?
You have to be very delicate with it here.
All right, I can't
Because you see, the objective is not so much to make fun of people, but to bring your attention to things that you may have otherwise ignored. And then people go, hey, you made fun of us. I go, actually, you laughed.
Right.
So it's kind of your fault.
Right. But tell me, it's often thought that Indians can't laugh at themselves. But do you find that different?
Well, no, there is a large group of Indians that can't laugh at themselves, but
like
that's why they're politicians,
right?
Right? So, and so you know, the rest of the people, the real people, which I like to call them, you guys, would be the real people, and then you got these phonies that have no sense of humor about anything, and then you have these other people who think they're these nationalists who are doing great things for the country, but in fact they're harming it in their own certain way, you know.
Right.
So I think it's the people who actually can step aside and laugh at themselves. Those are the people that ends up going further because you're able to see two sides of a coin.
Like which particular bits have gone down well with the audiences here so far?
Well, all the classics. I keep getting requests when I'm on stage, but I'm trying to
Any requests?
I'm not doing them. I'm just saying I won't be doing them. But
right.
They're too long. They're just long stories and but you know, I'm trying to do the new material, and then I'm trying to write material whilst I'm here, and then I'm trying to do some old stuff. But it's hard to do old stuff because the whole thing with comedy is the element of surprise. And I've been watching these Indian Laughter Challenge and all this stuff, and who is that guy that just laughs at anything? But he doesn't just, it's almost like they're zapping him every time, right? Because he's just like, ha-ha. He's like, ha! It's like he grabs his ass and laughs, ha!
Okay. And what do you say about politicians here?
A little stiff. But I'll be honest with you, I'm scared of the politicians here. Because politicians here aren't like politicians in North America, where it's like, you say something about them, and they're like, I don't know. Over here, they'll like take you out. You know what I mean? What'd you say about me? Poof. You know, Russell Peters' bus exploded today. And the politicians were like, I don't know how that happened. I have nothing bad to say. You politicians are doing a great job.
And what about Bollywood stars and Bollywood movies?
Bollywood movies, man, you know, if you like them, Godspeed, you know? Good for you for having no expectations from a movie. But then I heard one excuse for liking Bollywood movies. My cousin, this morning, I was having breakfast with her, and she said that her daughter-in-law likes Bollywood movies because she can just put it on and tune out, and there's no thought involved. And I'm like, well, then why don't you just go to sleep? Like, why are you wasting 5 hours on this film? You know what I mean? I don't like them. To me, it's about looks over talent. If you look great, you can be in a Bollywood movie. You don't have to be able to act.
So you do have a few favorites in Bollywood, right?
Well, no, I think, you know, what they're doing is great. Without Bollywood, who would I make fun of? You know what I mean? But it really is. To me, Bollywood's based on looks over talent. The acting is always overdone. It's never like, it's never subtle. There's nothing subtle. It's always like, somebody just stole your goat. It's never like, oh man, my goat. You know what I mean? That's why I like Tamil movies. It's not about looks in those movies. It's
That is so. That is so bad. But okay, Bollywood is one. But what about your parents? When your father hears your skits about him,
well, he doesn't hear them anymore. He passed away. But when he did
Oh,
hear them, he would always go, "I don't talk like that." I never said that. Why do you? And then, but like he would say that, but at the same time he'd be proud. You know what I mean? That's my son. He makes fun of me. You know me? I'm like, no, they've never seen you, Dad. They've only heard the caricature of you through me.
But did he really say that to you?
No, what? Somebody's gonna get hurt? I'll tell you where that came from. In Canada, I used to DJ, and they used to have these daytime dances in the early '90s because Indian parents were really strict. And they wouldn't allow their kids to go out at night, so they would have these daytime dances, and I would DJ them. So there was always fights at these dances, and there was never like fights. It was like these Indian fights where it was like, and I used to box. So to me, whenever there's a fight, I always watch because I'm like, ooh, I wonder. And then I'm always like, and then I'm like, could somebody just like stand straight, throw a punch, slip something, But it's never that clean when you watch it. Anyway, this fight broke out at one of the dances. And in Canada, there's a lot of new Indians and young kids like you, but more from like the Pind. You know what I mean? Like these are like real village kids, and now they're in the big city. And this fight breaks out, and this other kid jumps in. I run towards the fight because I see the fight, and then this other kid jumps in and goes, "Hey, nobody fight today, okay? Or somebody gonna get hurt real bad." And that's exactly where it came from. And then my friends and I were watching, and we started laughing. Because there's this big fight, and everyone's like, oh. And then, like, and we're like, ah. And the whole night we're, like, saying it. We said it for years. And then it wasn't until much later where I incorporated it into my act. And there was, like, many variations on the way before I got to the final story. Because the story's true, but the phrase wasn't. You know what I mean? But that's how comedy works. It's based off something real. And then there's the exaggeration that follows.
For those who haven't heard it, just very quickly the story.
Well, the story was, you must beat your kids. Basically, you have to hit your kids, and if you don't hit your kids, they're going to grow up to be...
Like whites.
Not even because... I've been asking audiences in India, and there's some sort of new parenting happening here, where Indian parents are like, no, I don't hit him. And the kid's like, I don't get hit. I'm like, you're a brat then. Get hit. You know what I mean? People that never get hit are usually mouthier than everybody else. Because they don't know what it's like to be slapped in the face. Like, I'm mouthy because I was always told to shut up. Right. My dad would always threaten, like, my dad wouldn't say somebody's going to get hurt, but he would make me get hurt. You know what I mean? He wouldn't be like, somebody going to, he'd be like, come here. And then, like, ow, that hurt. That's right, And so the more they repressed my wanting to speak out, the more I spoke out later on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to beat these kids, and it's just good. I'm not saying, turn an iron on and burn them, but, every now and then a little... Or, the subtle ones, where your parents kind of pull your arm really hard, Come here, son. Come here, son, Indian parents like to grind their teeth when they're getting mad. Come here! They don't raise their voice because that would be, too much show.
Now, how about some questions? I can see a lot of you identify your parents like that? Right? Yeah.
Did you get hit, Stripey?
Yeah, lots of times.
Lots of times? Good, see? And now you're a good kid, right? How old are you?
Yeah. I'm 19.
19?
Yeah.
You look young as hell. That's good, right?
No,
Ooh,
not...
I thought that guy was trying to teabag you. So you got hit, but they can't hit you anymore, obviously, at 19.
Yeah.
Oh, they still do?
No.
I was like, wow, that's...
not on national television.
Man, you're a punk.
No way.
He won't admit on national television.
Oh, right. Well, there you go.
No, they don't hit.
They want to hit you now, but...
Yeah, they do.
Right. How about some questions? Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you ask a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Did you face any kind of racism when you were a kid, basically,
Oh,
during your childhood.
That's all I faced when I was a kid. Seriously, growing up in Canada is not like over here. I don't know what kind of racism you're facing. I think you're facing classism over here. You know what I mean? You know, I have this much money, you don't have this much money, I'm better than you. And that to me doesn't work either, because I honestly, as much as I make fun of everybody, and it sounds cliche and it sounds like the right thing to say, but I really do look at everybody the exact same way. There's no variance when I look at people. I could look at a beggar the same way that I look at you, same way that I look at you, and I will talk to all three of you the exact same way. And in doing so, I may offend you because, you know, you may not be used to being talked like that, and the beggar may be like, what the hell did you say to me?
Have you ever got beaten up?
No, that's why I boxed. For fear. I used to get beaten up a lot.
Really?
Yeah, until I was about 15, and then I started boxing for 9 years, and then I never got beaten up again. And then when I stopped boxing, I started doing jiu-jitsu, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess I can say anything now.
Right. But in all your life as a DJ, have you ever seen a cool Indian?
You meet cool Indians. Cool is not...
I mean, in your skits about Indians versus Jamaicans.
No, you meet
Indians
cool
don't-
Indians. You meet them every now and then. It's more of an inner thing, you know what I mean? When you see somebody trying too hard, like that's the other thing with the Bollywood actors. I see them try so hard. Like they buy every cheesy piece of clothing you can buy. Like those ugly ass True Religion jeans and the shirts with all the print all over it and the Ed Hardy hats. I'm like, come on, man, that's like cheeseball central. You know, you got to be able to think. Like what you rock is what you know. They may wear these clothes, but they don't really own the look. Do you know what I mean? It's always like, hey, I saw somebody else do this. Maybe I should do this. And I'm like, you're 50 years old. Why are you dressed like that? Right. You're dressed like a 14-year-old Persian kid from Beverly Hills.
Persian?
Yeah. There's a ton of Persians in Beverly Hills.
Right.
Moolah, moolah, moolah.
Really? Okay, we take a short break. That was just an order. Okay, now get your questions ready, right?